In a quiet village called Riverbend, thunder and lightning were not just storms. They were executors, sacred forces of justice that struck only when truth was betrayed. Unbiased, unforgiving. And when they roared, the guilty trembled. Among the people of Riverbend lived a woman named Evelyn. She was beautiful, bold, and fearless, the kind of woman who walked like the world belonged to her. But beauty can be dangerous. And Evelyn used hers recklessly. She had once been married. But after her husband left, she began chasing after other people's husbands. Breaking homes, whispering sweet lies, and walking away without a care. Everyone in the village knew what she was doing. But no one dared to confront her. No one had the courage. Until that day, in the crowded market square. It was a bright afternoon. Women were laughing, traders shouting prices, children running between stalls. Then suddenly, a voice cut through the noise. "Grace, Evelyn." All eyes turned. Grace, the wife of one of the men Evelyn had been seeing, stood tall, her eyes burning with pain and anger. "How long will you keep destroying people's homes? Do you think we don't know? Leave my husband, and every other married man, alone." The market went silent for a heartbeat. And then, it erupted. People whispered. Some laughed quietly. Others nodded in agreement. For the first time, someone had dared to say what everyone else was too afraid to speak. Evelyn stood frozen, her pride cracking under the weight of their eyes. She said nothing. She only turned and walked away, her face cold, her heart burning. That night, as the moon hung low and silver in the sky, Evelyn sat alone in her hut. Her shame had turned into fury. She could not forget the laughter, the whispers, the humiliation. She lit a candle, its flame trembling in the darkness. Before her stood a small shrine, covered in white chalk and old offerings. She knelt down and began to whisper, "O mighty thunder, O bright lightning, great executors of truth, go forth and strike Grace. She insulted me. She shamed me before all." The air grew heavy. The candle flame turned blue. Outside, the wind began to moan through the trees, though the night sky was clear. Then came a sound, deep and distant, like a drumbeat from the heavens. Thunder had heard her call. Lightning flashed across the horizon, answering. And Evelyn smiled. "They are coming," she whispered. "They will avenge me." Far across the village, Grace was sitting by her fire, humming softly as her children slept. Suddenly, the air shifted. The flames flickered. She looked up and saw a flash at the doorway. Lightning stood there, silent, glowing, alive. Thunder's voice followed, deep and endless, shaking the earth. Grace trembled, but did not scream. She knew what they were. The executors had come. They looked upon her and saw her heart. They saw her pain, her honesty, her endurance. She had spoken out only after years of humiliation. They turned to each other, their voices echoing in the sky. "She is not guilty." Then, in a roar that split the night, they vanished. At that same moment, miles away, Evelyn's candle flickered violently. She felt the air turn cold. The room trembled. Her smile faded. "Wait," she whispered. Why are you back? Then thunder spoke again, its voice no longer distant, but right inside her walls. You sent us on a lie. A blinding flash filled the hut. The earth shook. And then, silence. By morning, whispers spread through Riverbend. There had been no rain. No clouds. Yet thunder had spoken in the night. Neighbors peeked from their windows, afraid to ask questions. Until someone ran through the streets shouting, "Evelyn! Evelyn is gone." They rushed to her house. There she lay, still, lifeless, her body darkened as though the fire of heaven had touched her. The smell of burnt air hung thick around her. No one spoke. No one dared to cry. They only bowed their heads and whispered the same words every child in Riverbend was taught from that day forward. Never summon thunder and lightning when your hands are not clean. Because thunder and lightning never lie.